You see me making this video, it's not because I'm the best producer in Ghana, but perhaps because I have failed more than most of you watching me as a producer. And I've gathered the pieces of experience, the pain of failing, the lessons to learn, and then the monies to lose. All this put together have given me some of this information I'm going to share with you, so that maybe you wouldn't have to go through the same path I followed to fail. You see, most people who come into the film industry are people who already have some background, skill, or talent to build upon. So you see somebody coming into the film industry as a special effects artist or as a special effects director, they have some artistic background. You see somebody coming into the film industry as a production designer, the person has some painting background. And the mistake most of us make is to allow our passion and our talent to override the business side of our craft. I'm saying it again. The mistake most of us make is to allow our passion and talent to override the business side of our craft. Perhaps you are a writer in the film industry. What do you look out for before you put pen on paper to write your first phrase or your first sentence of the script? You see, we usually look at the picture we see with our mind's eyes. So we look at our story, we imagine it play on screen, and we feel this is the best story we can ever write. So we begin to write. We do not look at the target audience. Are we writing for males or females? It is common for us to feel that everybody can watch a movie. Women watch movies, men watch movies, so our movie is for everybody. But then, who forms the majority of your target audience, the males or the females? When you are writing with females as your main target audience, there is a way to go about it. And if you are writing as males as your main target audience, there is a way to go about it. And we must be intentional. We must be intentional about this process. And then again, what age group are we looking at? If men or the males are our main target audience for whom we are writing the script for the film, then what age group are we looking at? Are we looking at the teens? Are we looking at those from 20s to mid 30s? Are we looking at those from 40 to 60s? Who are you writing your script for? So you see, we need to determine our target audience by sex and by their age groupings. All right. Having said that, let's also look at the final destination or the main destination of the movie. You see, every movie has its own release windows per the producer's decision. Maybe the movie will be premiered in the cinemas. From there, it will be shown on TV. From there, it will be shown on streaming platforms and all that the producer comes up with the release windows. But when you are writing, you need to have a place in mind or a destination for the film in mind. If the movie is going to finally rest on YouTube, or the movie is going to stream on YouTube or a streaming platform in general, then you should look at the demographics. Which age group are you targeting? And what is their presence on streaming apps or on streaming platforms? So you see, you don't just say you have the talent to write, so you take your pen and paper, the stories are being poured down into your system and you are offloading them on paper. No, as you write, you also look at the business side of it. All right, let's go into budgeting. The script you are writing, do you have a budget in mind? Perhaps you are writing for a big budget production, there is a way to go about it. Maybe you are writing for an independent producer. Maybe you are writing for a micro budget production. There is also a way to go about it. These are the things you have to look out for. We started making films because we could write. So anytime we got stories, we read the stories, we read through, oh, this story is very good, it's dope. Then we start gathering money, equipment, people, and we go on set to shoot. But the way our consumers think is different from the way we, the producers, we think. As a producer, you think you are making the best movie, but those you are making the movie for are also thinking differently. So how do you get to know the way the market or the audience are thinking and come up with a movie that will meet their needs or their demand? That is why some movies come out and they are successful, others come out and they fail. I failed mostly because for most of the times I wrote my stories, I did not consider target audience. I did not consider the way they think. I did not consider the sex, male or females. I did not consider even the age group I was making the film for. I was only writing because I got a nice story in mind, which could be made into a film. I'm just hoping you will watch this movie to the end and learn from some of the mistakes I made as a writer and a producer in the film industry. And once again, the mistake most of us make as producers is that we make the films before we go looking for the market. You see. Yeah, we make the films before we go looking for the market. That's the mistake I made when I produced my first movie. I went on set, produced the movie when I had not spoken to any marketer in the industry. About 10 years ago, I went on set to make my first movie. I chose my first cast, my own script, and then I went to produce the movie. I knew the movie was good. It was part 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the plan was that, well, let's use part 1 and 2 to recoup our cost of production and then use the part 3 and 4 as profit. Those were the days movies were sold on CDs. Part 1 and 2, part 3 and 4, those days. So I knew very well that the part 1 and 2 will give me some money, the part 3 and 4 will also give me some money. I finished editing the movie, everything, even gave it a title, shot the sound, produced the soundtrack. The title was What a Shock. Finished everything, artwork, before I started looking for a marketer who will market the film for me. And when I met the marketer, that was when the marketer was also giving me the terms of distribution. Okay, so I being the marketer, I will produce the posters. You as the producer, you have to do the copies, the number of copies you want us to release in the market. You, the producer, must go and duplicate your own copies. The marketer will take care of promotion, TV and radio. You, the producer, you have to take care of this and this and that. That was the first time I was hearing some of these things. I went on set to produce a film without knowing how movies are even released on the market. Yes, I finished everything, met with the marketer before I got to know all these things. And that was when I even realized that the movie title I chose was already taken by someone and the movie was out. What a shock. In the marketer's shop, I was looking around. I saw a pack of CDs in some corner. What a shock. Part 1 and 2. I said, Evadimewu. Somebody has taken my title. I have used that title to produce soundtrack to edit the movie. As the movie rolls, you hear the sound, what a shock, in the background. Meaning I had to go back to the editing bench to start scoring the movie all over again. What if I was not an editor and I paid an editor to do the job? We are done. I took my job, or I took my movie master, and then I'm going back to the studio to tell him to start from the beginning, to score the whole movie all over again. I had to go to the sound engineer to change the song, What a Shock, into something else. It was a whole lot. These are some of the mistakes I made as a producer when I was starting production. It was at the same time that I got to know that the movie was even dragging. In the industry, when you have a movie with stars in the movie, you shouldn't have a scene or two scenes continuously without the stars appearing in those scenes. People will not watch the movie. This is one secret I'm telling you. You have a big star in your movie, then the star appears in scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. The star is not in the movie. Scene 5, there is no star in the movie. Scene 6, they appear in the movie. Scene 7, they are not in. Scene 8, they are not in. So the marketer told me all this. It shouldn't happen like this. So in every scene of the movie, at least one of the stars should be seen in the film so that it wouldn't be boring, because in our side of the industry is the stars that we were using to drive the story. So if the stars are not in and you have 2, 3, 4 scenes continuously with new faces, it doesn't drive the film. So he told me, your story is good, but go and compress the movie. Even if you will get part 1 and 2 and it is solid, it's better than this long movie, part 1, 2, 3, and 4 with loose ends. You see how it will be. You have finished making your movie, you are going around with your master copy. I went to see Adolf in Kumasi, and I spoke to, I think, was it Big Ben or John Mason Productions, one of them in Kumasi, before I came to Accra, and then I met above all at Kaneshi, and then we had all these discussions. So I had to go back to the editing bench, start the editing all over again, remove some scenes from the film, and eventually it ended up being part 1 and 2. So I was thinking that part 1 and 2 will give me money to recover my cost of production, and then part 3 and 4 will be my profit. Now the movie is going to be part 1 and 2. Yeah. So the whole 2 parts of the movie was just taken out. That's the mistake some producers are still making now. All right, let me continue. That was not the only mistake I made. Sometimes, you see, when you are coming fresh in the film industry or as a producer, you have a lot of ambitions. You are so ambitious. If you are not careful, you will even think those ahead of you are lazy. Those ahead of you don't know anything. Sometimes you may begin to think like that because you stay behind, you watch them failing, you watch them succeeding, and you pick up the pieces and you think you can do better. Before I produced my first film, I heard many times that marketers sometimes, how do I put it? They say, Omucha bigum. The producer presented 100,000 copies of CDs for the marketer to sell. Then marketer no will try be agum. Amana ye best 150. Enti or ton le die no 20. Now a ton what die no 30. What I mean is that sometimes we suspected the marketers to duplicate some of our movies. So you, the producer, you present about 100,000 CDs. Then the marketer will find some ways and means to produce extra 50. So whilst they are selling your 100, they are also selling their 50, making extra money from your movie. That usually happens when the original copies you, the producer, presented are finished. Then the marketer will tell you, okay, Mr. Producer, your movie is finished on the market, so bring in more copies. Before you send in the copies, he has sold his 50 CDs. Some of them will not even call you that your movies are short on the market. The 100 copies you sent to him are all sold out. He will bypass you, or he will go behind you to produce extra 50 for himself, and he will be selling, he will be selling, he will be selling. So he will, after he sells 100 for you, he will bypass you, copy extra 50 for himself, sell those 50 before he calls you that your movie has run out on the market, so bring in more copies. So I said, okay, I will not allow any shortage to come for the marketers to fill in the gap with their whatever ways and means. So I copied, so I brought in a lot of CDs so that there wouldn't be any shortage. And I was so much confident that my movie would sell. Eventually, I sold only 60%. 40% are still packed somewhere now. For over 10 years now, 40% of the number of CDs I released in the market are still packed intact. And do you know how much I paid to copy one CD? 40% loss. These are some of the mistakes we make as producers. Do you want to hear more? Subscribe to this channel. There is more to share. But for now, I have to finish my drink.